70,000 people. 70,000 people dead. These people were obliterated from the earth in 5 seconds when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan, August 6, 1945. It is the quickest amount of time for a death total of that much. The total death toll of both bomb droppings was 225,000 people. We can't fully comprehend the horror of this attack, so let me put it in a different light. All of the Al-Qaeda attacks on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the potential attack that crash-landed in Pennsylvania's death toll all added up to 3,000 people. That's nearly 100 times less than the attacks on Japan. I believe that America should not have dropped the atomic bomb in Japan because it was excessive, unnecessary, and untested. First, I'll discuss how the atomic bombing on Japan was excessive. The atomic bombing of Japan was excessive because of the total death toll. 225,000 people died in 1 month due to these bomb tolls. 2,400 people died at Pearl Harbor bombings. Again, that's 100 times less than the atomic bomb. Also, they dropped 2 bombs, not just 1. After the second bomb on Nagasaki, Japan surrendered September 2nd, 1945. America had 2 more atomic bombs planned to be dropped on Japan, but they surrendered. The civilian death toll was major too. 95% of the deaths in Japan were civilians. Most all the deaths at Pearl Harbor were military. Only 68 of the 2,400 people that died were civilians. Not only was the atomic bombing excessive, but it was also very unnecessary. They were unnecessary for many reasons. Traditional bombings were working well all around the world during World War II. These bombings were directed at military bases, like Pearl Harbor. The Americans' main goal was to strike terror into the people of Japan. Also, the war on Germany was over. It allowed for more resources on the Pacific because the war on the Atlantic was over. There was the ability to fight a war and not just drop a bomb. We had more than enough soldiers and resources to win another war. Japan was already ready to surrender. They wanted to surrender and keep their honor, according to General Eisenhower. There was no need to drop 2 atomic bombs and disrespect Japan. The atomic bombings were excessive and unnecessary, but they were very untested as well. The atomic bombings were extremely untested. They were tested on small scale, but never on humans. Atomic radiation killed these people in these cities, as well as surrounding cities. After the impact of the atomic bomb killed 70,000 people in Hiroshima, 100,000 other civilians died a slow, painful death from radiation poisoning. America did not know the full potential of the atomic bomb. They tested it in small scale in New Mexico, not knowing its effects on humans. There is little known of atomic radiation to save these victims. Near nothing was known about this to save these victims. Nothing was known about the atomic radiation of these bombs, and they caused harmful effects that traditional bombs wouldn't. Truman wouldn't have dropped the bomb if he knew what the effects of the bomb would be. The effects of these bombings were brutal. As I said, 100,000 people died slowly and painfully from the radiation poisoning. The symptoms were loss of hair, severe burns, birth defects, post-traumatic stress disorder, shrunken brain size causing lower IQ, and blindness. More than 400 cancers were exposed to these people, all from radiation that was released. Most of the 100,000 died from cancers and radiation that was exposed. Those who survived the attacks lived a miserable life full of confusion and sickness. Since the dropping of these 2 bombs, no nation has ever used atomic weapons in war. Could it be that they know that the atomic bombings on Japan was excessive, unnecessary, and untested? In our lifetime, we've been impacted by the terrorist attacks on 9/11. If you had grown up in Japan in the 1950s, would you consider Americans terrorists as well? With hundreds of nuclear warheads in dozens of countries around the world, are we 5 seconds away from the same fate? Or will we learn that America should never have used the atomic bombs and we will never use them again?